The possibility of communication through thoughts alone may be made feasible through the use of brain implants. The development of a speech prosthetic is the result of a joint effort by Duke neuroscientists, neurosurgeons, and engineers. This unique device has the capability to interpret a person's brain signals and translate them into the intended message they are trying to convey. The latest technology, which was published on November 6th in the journal Nature Communications, has the potential to aid individuals who are unable to speak due to neurological disorders. The technology involves a brain-computer interface that may one day provide a means of communication for such individuals. According to Gregory Kogan, Ph.D., a professor of neurology at Duke University's School of Medicine and one of the primary researchers involved in the initiative, numerous patients are afflicted with disabling motor disorders such as ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or locked-in syndrome that can hinder their capacity to speak. However, the tools presently accessible to assist them in communicating are typically slow and burdensome. Currently, the most proficient rate of speech decoding is equivalent to listening to an audiobook at half speed, which is about 78 words per minute. However, people typically speak at a rate of approximately 150 words per minute. The reason for the delay between spoken speech and the decoding of that speech is due in part to the limited amount of brain activity sensors that can be affixed to an ultra-thin material placed on the surface of the brain. The lessened quantity of sensors results in a decrease of comprehensible information available for decoding. To overcome the limitations of previous efforts, Kogan collaborated with his colleague Jonathan Viventi, Ph.D. at the Duke Institute for Brain Sciences. Viventi's laboratory in biomedical engineering is focused on producing thin, flexible, high-density brain sensors. In this particular venture, Viventi and his team managed to fit an astounding 256 minuscule brain sensors onto a small, bendable piece of medical-grade plastic, roughly the size of a postage stamp. Coordination of speech requires the correct interpretation of signals from neighboring brain cells, even when these cells are only as far apart as a grain of sand. Therefore, it is essential to differentiate between these signals to make accurate predictions about intended speech. Kogan and Viventi collaborated with a group of Duke University Hospital neurosurgeons, including Derek Southwell, Maryland, Ph.D., Nandan Ladd, Maryland, Ph.D., and Alan Friedman, Maryland, to conduct an experiment testing their newly fabricated implant. They recruited 4 patients who were undergoing brain surgery for a different medical condition, such as the removal of a tumor or treatment for Parkinson's disease. Due to the limited time frame, Kogan and his team had to temporarily install the device in these patients during their surgeries. As a result, the operating room served as a test area for the device's functionality. Kogan likened the process to that of a NASCAR pit crew, explaining that any additional time added to the procedure is unwelcome. The team had to complete their tasks within a strict 15-minute time frame. Once the surgeon and medical team gave the signal, the team sprang into action and the patient successfully completed the task. The activity presented to the participants was a straightforward exercise of listening and repeating. They were played a sequence of meaningless words such as Ava, Kug, or VIP, and then vocalized each one. The apparatus captured data from the speech motor cortex of each individual, which controls nearly 100 muscles responsible for the movement of the lips, tongue, jaw, and larynx. Following the surgery, Susindra Kumar Duraival, a graduate student in biomedical engineering at Duke, and the first author of the report, utilized the neural and speech data from the operation and introduced it to a machine learning algorithm. The aim was to determine the algorithm's ability to predict the uttered sound based solely on the brain activity recorded during the surgery. When analyzing specific sounds and individuals, such as the sound /G/ in the term GAC, the decoder accurately identified it 84% of the time if it was the initial sound among a set of 3 sounds that constituted a nonsensical word. As the decoder analyzed sounds that were present in the middle or at the end of a meaningless word, precision gradually diminished. The decoder also had difficulty distinguishing between 2 sounds that were alike, such as /P/ and /B/. In total, the decoder demonstrated 40% accuracy, Although this might seem like a low score, it is actually an impressive feat considering that other brain-to-speech technologies require much more data to operate effectively. In fact, these technologies generally require several hours or even days' worth of data. The algorithm employed by Durevel for speech decoding, however, utilized only 90 seconds of spoken data from the original 15-minute test. With a recent grant of $2.4 million from the National Institutes of Health, Durevel and his mentors are thrilled to be working on developing a cordless version of their device. According to Kogan, they are currently working on creating wireless recording equipment that would function similarly to their current models. This new technology would allow for greater mobility and freedom, as there would no longer be a need to stay tethered to a power source. An exciting prospect indeed. Although Viventi and Kogan's efforts are inspiring, it is clear that there is still a significant amount of progress that needs to be made before their speech prosthetic becomes widely available for purchase. In a recent article from Duke magazine regarding the technology, Viventi stated that they have reached a point where the technology's pace is still considerably slower than human speech. However, there is a visible trajectory that indicates the possibility of achieving the same pace as natural speech in the near future. Financial assistance for this project was provided by the National Institutes for Health through their grants, R01, DC019498 and UL1, TR002553, the Department of Defense's W81 XWH2105538, the Klingenstein-Simons Foundation, and an incubator award from the Duke Institute for Brain Sciences. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.